Hello everybody and welcome to the Daily Review, episode number 179 for Friday, July 17th, 2009. And the film I'm going to be reviewing for you guys today is one I've been very excited to see and finally saw it. So happy I did. 500 Days of Summer. This film is directed by Mark Webb, who was primarily known for directing music videos. I believe this is his first feature film, and it stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel. And 500 Days of Summer, as the tagline suggests, is not, it's not a love story, but a story about love. And it's basically about this boy named Tom, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who meets Summer, Zooey Deschanel, and it kind of chronicles their 500 days that they spent together. And jumping from day 412 to day 4 to 250, and through all these bits and pieces you kind of get a real sense of what their relationship was like and all that sort of good stuff. I read today, I believe, there are dogs barking, sorry. I read today in the LA Times that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was quoted as saying that he thinks that 500 Days of Summer is an anti-romantic comedy. The tagline says, "This is not a love story." Whatever you want to call it, it is absolutely fantastic. Really smart and sharp filmmaking, and I think the big strength of the film is the realism behind it. And I think that their relationships, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel's relationship, is very real. And I think almost anybody that sees this movie is going to look at Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, especially guys, I think, is going to look at his character and go, that's me. Like, that, I can relate to that, that's real, that's happened to me, that has happened, that sort of stuff. Especially their first meeting, which I'm sure most people have seen the trailer when she comments on the Smiths song that he's listening to. And after that, he sees her again at like an office party a few days later, tries to talk to her. Very realistic and well done. I feel like the reason romantic comedies get a bad rap is because they're so cheesy and it's just the dialogue is so just standard, and it's like that's not really how people meet. People meet in awkward ways. Dialogue is usually very awkward. There's a scene in the film where basically towards the beginning when he first meets her and tells her that he likes her at some point, he shows up at work the next day and it's really uncomfortable and awkward. And I've had those feelings too, as I'm sure everybody has, where it's like in the moment that was cool, but then the next day you're like, you don't know how to approach it. Really well done. As I said, the film does time jump a lot, and it's told out of sequence. It goes, I believe the first time they show it is 488, and it goes back to like 4 and then 1 and then jumps ahead. And that sounds confusing, but it's really not at all. And I think at first when I heard about that, I thought that sounded kind of gimmicky. And I know that that does sound like kind of a gimmick, but I think it really works well because I feel that it gives a real sense of their relationship, not only as that, but the relationship is supposed to be kind of a recount of everything that's happened. And it's true that when you do remember things in your life, you're not really remembering in chronological order necessarily. You're remembering, especially in relationships, you remember the good stuff, you remember the bad stuff, and all the things in between. And that's not necessarily all happening from day 1 to day 500. And I think it's really well done. The one film, and I know this is a big high praise for this movie, I guess, but the one movie that it really reminds me of a lot is Annie Hall. And Annie Hall, I believe, was the last comedy ever to win Best Picture. And that is an exceptional film. See that if you haven't. But there's so many things that are just reminiscent of it as far as the realistic quality of it and tone. There's also a scene, for those of you that have seen Annie Hall, there's a scene in that where Woody Allen and Diane Keaton are talking to each other, but they show subtitles for what they're really trying to say or what they're really thinking, which I thought is just revolutionary almost and really clever. And there's a thing that goes on in 500 Days of Summer where the screen splits off into 2 distinct sections, and one says expectations and one says reality, and it basically shows what he's expecting to happen and what's really happening. And the cool thing about it is that the differences are really subtle and they're all going on at the same exact time, so it's kind of hard to catch everything, but if you're really looking, kudos, good stuff. So yeah, 500 Days of Summer, I give it a 5 out of 5. It's one of, if not the best film that I've seen all year. Probably my favorite romantic comedy. I don't really like categorizing it like that, but my favorite one since I've seen Garden State, probably. So that's high praise coming from me because I absolutely love Garden State. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with another one for you.